All right, everyone, let me paint a picture for you. As you can see down on sort of the bottom of the screen, it's March 1941. So you sort of got to realize what's going on in the world. Germany's defeated France a little less than a year ago. The Battle of North Atlantic's been raging. The Battle of Britain has been raging. The Italians have sort of been messing around out in the desert, down in Ethiopia, Abyssinia. Don't ever really know what to call it right at this time period. And things have sort of been a bit of a stalemate. Now, we often see, yes, we are playing this, and we will cover a little of the DLC, and it's coming soon. And so, games have sometimes a bit of a trouble, especially grand strategic games, trying to mirror reality, shall we say. North Africa was not the case for the Italian side, not the case that, oh, well, we don't have any more troops to put in there. No, Italy had plenty of more troops. It was a combination of things. One, supplying the troops from Italy. Yes, they had enough ships to supply, the basic needs of the troops. But also the infrastructure, because even if, and this is critical in this campaign, even if you say control a port, Benghazi here, Tobruk over here, back here, Tripoli, even if you control a port, it's very hard getting supplies to the front. So, Italy's not doing well. Mussolini decides to, hey, let's invade Greece. That'd be easy. We've got plenty of troops. Let's just do this. Now, my understanding is part of the problem with the invasion of Greece is a bunch of the troops had sort of like, hey, yeah, go to spring harvest and whatnot and things. So they weren't really ready to attack, but they did. And so you get in a bit of a stalemate. Now, as the British are attacking in the Western Desert and doing really well, there's all of a sudden the political call, and I think it's probably the right political move. I don't know that it's the right move for the war. Sort of comes more or less out of Churchill. You've got to send a real meaningful force to help with the Greeks. So the British end up sending Wavell, the commander-in-chief of the Mediterranean, sends 3 British divisions to Greece at the very time when they're desperately needed to push into Libya. So we have this situation of O'Connor, who's sort of commanding the Western Desert forces, gets at least 1 division pulled off of his force, but they also sort of pull together 1 or 2 other, not exactly sure where they all come from, but 1 or 2 other divisions that are in this theater of operations, send them off to Greece. So that, and plus air elements, obviously supporting naval elements, all get sent up to Greece. Well, at this time, the Germans are like, oh hell, the Italians are going to lose in North Africa. This is going to be bad. So let's send a force to just stop the bleeding, just to protect it. So sort of the hero of France, we'll send Rommel down there. And Rommel, and this is the key problem with Germany and the Mediterranean, in my opinion, is often it's not even looked as the secondary front. It's even lower down in priority. If you movie 5 Keys to Cairo, starring Erich von Stroheim and Franchette Tone, which was made right around 1942, I believe. they make out that the Germans, you know, they were kept in hot houses and special trained elite German forces. No, most of these forces, including one of the divisions, is just really a patchwork of various sorts of units, not, you know, smaller than a division, sort of patched work together. And then, oh, well, you're now a division. You've never trained together. Your officers commanding, you know, this infantry battalion, that artillery unit, whatever, have never even worked together before. You're now a division. Go off to fight in North Africa. Oh, and here's some pseudo-colonial type clothing, pith helmets and boots that don't really work very well. But yeah, go do. And so you're really finding a lot of improvised, limited German support. And it's always, Rommel is, at least most of the time, sent just enough equipment, supplies, extra units to get the job done. But there's always losses to submarines coming there. So if you send just enough fuel to do the job, and then you lose 20%, half of it, whatever the losses to the submarines are, that means you don't have enough. So instead of sending more than enough so that enough get there, they send just enough. And so it's always a, you know, never enough, never the priorities. Now, of course, looking from the German perspective, they're getting ready to go after what they see as the big target. The primary thing is Barbarossa and the invasion of Russia. So I just sort of wanted to paint that picture a little bit and see. Now I want to say hi to Kopenik, Pino, hey Ari, and Lanzer and Unknown. Yes, we are playing North Africa, everybody. Okay, turn the music down a little bit. We will do so. Okay, options. Audio, visual, music, volume. We'll even do the sound. Okay. Hopefully that's a bit better. Please do give feedback on sound, because I know what I hear. I don't know what you hear. I have the volume turned off for the stream. I need skirmish more. Yes. Hello, Grey Knight. Italy invades Greece. Greek pushes them back. Yes. It's babysitting the Italians. Hello, PS. He goes on the fish mission. Well, good. Okay. Yes. All right, so we're going to start this scenario. And yes, coming very soon, we will be, or they will be releasing, but I will also be playing at some point. Is it Red Star, is it called? It's the Soviet DLC for this game. And what's sort of interesting, special, unique about it, and I'll be bringing this up later again because not everyone's here and people will come and go, is that it's the Russian campaigns from, is it 38? It's in the 30s through to 1941, so before Barbarossa, I believe. So it should include things like the Winter War. I'm guessing. I don't know any of the details other than just the time frame. That isn't that much of a detail, but I'm guessing it'll be possibly the Winter War from the Soviet perspective, quite likely Russian or Soviet and Japanese sparring out in Manchuria, Manchukuo, whatever you want to call it there. Quite possibly the Soviet invasion of Red Star. Okay, thank you. Yeah, quite possibly the Soviet invasion of Poland. So it will be the pre or up through to 41 is the idea. Hello, Jaculius. Hello, comrade and German gamer advice ahead of time. Try to beat those Australians in Tobruk. Sound like Roosevelt. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Roosevelt had a fairly good speaking voice. Okay, start briefing. Okay, the Afrika Korps is ready to begin operations in Libya. Our primary task is to put an end to the British advance into Tripolinia, which had followed the defeat of our Italian allies in Egypt. Okay, and yes, as probably most of you know, there's sort of Egypt, Tripolinia, which is over in Tripoli, and then Cyrenaica, which we're seeing down here on the mini-map, is where we're going to be fighting in today. They were sort of divided up into different regions and weren't all the same thing. Once sufficient buildup of our forces and material have been achieved, we can consider a careful advance into Cyrenaica from here. Better defensive positions against the British desert force can be acquired. Africa is considered a sideshow. No one at the OKW is enthusiastic about large-scale operations in the region. As such, both supplies and reinforcements will remain limited throughout the operation. Yes, and I want to clearly state the German commander in the Mediterranean was Smiling Albert Kesselring of the Luftwaffe. Now, before you start to maybe disparage, oh, why do you have a Luftwaffe commander for a theater commander? In many ways, I think he's the right person for the job, because in World War I don't remember what rank he achieved, but he was an artillery officer in the German army. So he is a German army officer of World War I and combat artillery, not a a frontline stormtrooper or anything. But so he is fully trained up as a ground soldier, and that is also why he does so well later on defending Italy there. So he has both the Luftwaffe and the ground experience. Well, I was hoping he was thinking, well, I was figuring he's thinking FDR, on which Roosevelt. So yes, and now also okay, let's start this. Okay, primary objectives: do not lose El Hagila, probably butchering the names, capture Gabadaya up here, prevent Italian or loss of Italian units. Okay, secondary objective. Now, oh man, I don't know if it's right at this stage of the operation or an earlier stage. Rommel is sent down and told to establish a defensive line. And another little thing, and I've read some histories, and some of them were from a time period before they let us, the world, know about Ultra, the decoding of the German cipher code. So, including Montgomery's book on all of this. So he doesn't mention it. But one thing that we know now was the British they had a listening post and the complete decryption. Excuse me. Complete decryption in Malta. That's where they were getting their information, was from in Malta, and then they would send it on. Now, so they got the orders from Germany to Rommel to just set up a defensive line. So they were not worried about Rommel and attacking at that time. And this is a really important thing. So the British are caught massively off guard. Also, another important thing, Wavell knew about Ultra, knew where the information was coming from, and then would either pass on orders or pass on spies have let us know. I'm doing air quotes. You don't see me, of course. And so to, like, O'Connor, who was the Western Desert Commander, who didn't know, O'Connor did not know about Ultra, did not know that they were reading the mail. So they were very unsure of how good that information was. And that's a very big element. It wasn't really until Montgomery is in there that the operational command and sort of the high theater command are in on Ultra together and are coordinating all of that. It would have been so much better if the Red Baron was in it. I don't know. about that. He was a very good pilot, of course, but I don't know that he was such a good operational leader. And by the time World War I comes out, Italians were actually not bad in this game. They lacked tanks that were really good against... What do you think of the Italians did better? Army, air? Well, the Navy had all the lavish money spent on in Italy. That was the most modern and up-to-date forces within the Italian armed forces trio. I would say the biggest problem with the Italian army is the Italian army officers. Equipment is second, and then third is training. Okay, so I know we've been talking a lot. Okay, we have one officer of command of Rommel. We get to have him. I'm going to put him in the tank force, and now that I do that, you can see a gray area. That's his command and control zones. That's set up. Now we're also going to purchase some units. I hope you don't mind my talking and not just playing. We are going to get to playing, don't worry. Okay, I like the 38T, so we're going to purchase and deploy one. Fairly cheap. I don't know that that's the best choice, but we're going to do that. And I think we're going to need to do regular troops. Put that there. Now we are limited by... I'm going to get some recon. Again, I'm going to do a lot of talking here at the start. One thing a lot of people don't know, though I know I'm sort of talking to military or World War II history nerds here, so many of you probably already know some of this. Rommel was a fully qualified pilot, and he would most often alone get into a Freezer Stork and go flying around the battlefield or the area doing his own reconnaissance. Not because you also see him in, what is it, Griff, or is that how you pronounce it? His sort of small command half-track out in the field. Not so much that while the battle was actually being fought, he was there because he was out of communication. Once you're up in there, yeah, they have a radio, but not really set into the radio network. So it was more like pre-battle scouting he was up doing in the Stork and then coming back. But just another interesting tidbit on Rommel. We're also going to grab up a fighter. Can we deploy him over here? Yeah, because we're also going to purchase tactical bomber. We're going to go with Stukas. There we go. Okay, so we got that. Now we're limited on the amount of German forces, so we're going to get some Italian. The Caro Amato M1340. Best thing we have there with that. I think we're also going to get some artillery. Put that there, and help make up the numbers. Some infantry, and because we have, and the key to this episode, and I have played out the first few turns of it, I don't know how it's going to end and whatnot, but is we got to rush and we want to push over fast and a lot. So I think just about anything we get, we're going to be motorizing. Yeah. You see some of my favorite operas, including War Thunder, AK. Oh, the Sturmpanzer, yes. The Sturmpanzers that you see in War Thunder, what they are is a Panzer II hull that's been stretched, I think, for just one more set of road wheels. And they were all made and eventually sent down to North Africa, is where they were all sent to. What year is it available? Which is better, this game or Panzer Corps? Nitrogen. That is an interesting question. Now they're coming out with Panzer Corps 2, which we've seen a little bit of footage. I have no more experience than any of you who have seen that footage. It looks both graphically really good, and some of the mechanics we've heard about it looks really good. There are things that I like about both of these, between this and Panzer Corps. I like in this one that you can when you bomb, and you'll have the ability to move one hex off so that if you had a second aircraft, they can come in and hit the same target. It's close. It really is. I don't have like one is clearly superior. Yeah, I think the Sturmpanzer is sort of 42, but I'm not sure. Possibly Belgisari, or however you pronounce that. Yeah, that's an idea. Okay, we'll get one of them as well. Okay. Now this, I think, is going to do it for our opening moves. We don't have much, obviously, points left. Okay, well, so we need to end the deployment phase. Okay, so we don't want to lose, we want to push up, and we want to prevent loss of Italian units. Okay, so we're going to use the Stork for what it is, the reconnaissance, to see what's going on here. Alright, we've got an anti-tank gun, a British quick-firing 2-pounder, and some infantry. We're backed up by 25-pounder artillery pieces. Now, you know, I think we will come and hit the 25-pounders, or 22-pounders, what I'm saying. And I'm going to leave you right where you are this time because I don't know. Okay, so they can come down into the desert. Oh good, they got pushed back. Very nice. Hopefully they can outright kill them. Yes, it looks like they did. Okay, good. Okay, yes, we're going to take and push up there. Because what I want to do here is... might have been better to actually push with these. Well, we do have the Stork for reconnaissance right now. So we can move these guys up. These light artillery pieces have the ability to do some limited movement and then fire. So we're... yeah, Germans still clearly the... Damn, they pushed back. Oh well, yep, we'll take the town. I didn't want that to happen, because they've now been able to retreat to there. Okay, so we've done all of our... oh, the fighter. Yeah, we'll use them. Hurt them a little bit more. Mark 6 is it? The little machine gun armed tanks. Okay, well. That's going to delay us a little bit, but we're not going to let it delay us too much. Now we're going where? Here's our storch. Okay. We want to recon the situation, know what's going on. Dive bomb them. No, we're not going to pursue them. Yes, you can go up to there. But we're going to see about where? Oh, there are my fighter slits. Well, they didn't get very far. Okay, swift defeat of the British border units has encouraged the Axis commanders to set a more aggressive goal for the Afrika Korps. They advocate extensive offensive to drive the enemy entirely out of Libya. New objectives have been added. Now we're going to send these guys this way. Yeah. Now I'm going to push on. Gotta be bold, gotta be a bit risky. To end the turn. Okay, now we have new primary objectives of capture Benghazi and connect El Hagila to Bardia, capture Tobruk and Solom, and damage enemy aircraft with German fighters up to 10 points. Okay, and supply wars. Our supplies are limited and supply stockpiles will reduce over time. In order to maintain an effective fighting force, we must capture enemy supply depots during our advance. Okay. Which is up here, up in Benghazi. Now we are, like I say, we're going to be bold and we're going to push. I'm going to try to push up this desert road here and see if we can cut off their forces. I'm sure there are British forces garrisoning back here, but if we can come up somewhere in here and try to cut off whatever is retreating up the desert. One thing about the Storch, it has unlimited fuel, so it just flies around the whole game. We don't have to worry about air bases and whatnot. Now we want to grab some of the units further back here, have them attack up the road. pushing past our support. I don't want to have them out on trucks. The front on trucks was just a little too bold for me, maybe. Let's see. Yes, we can buy more units, quite possibly. What I'm going to wait for is one more turn, because instead of having them show way up back up here, if you controlled this for a turn or so, we can get them to show up here, I believe. So I want to wait a turn on that, but I do want to buy some more units. Okay. I just think it'll actually get to the front better. Where is capture to book also? Okay, so we have a fighter possible up here, or an aircraft. It looks like an A-13 or something, I'm guessing. Did some damage. Okay, well, let's fly him up here and see what's going on. Okay, we've got their fighter, so let's confirm. Okay, we hurt them a little more than they hurt us. Now that we've seen where their tanks are, let's move up. Oh no, those are captured Italian stuff. Okay, that's only captured. And there was a lot of that going on, of course. Both sides using captured equipment. Particularly trucks, that was a big thing that everybody was using. I think we'll send them out there. Now, let's see if we can get some more units. Yes. Oh, damn, they're not letting me come here yet. Okay, well. So they're all way back there. Okay, well, let's... Got the points. Can we get another German tactical bomber? Yes. That, yes, needs to be back at the airbase. Okay. That, I think, will help us. Once the flag is fully raised. Okay. That's good. Thank you. I didn't quite notice the flags going up, as it were. Yeah, the Stug has that dual ability, so we may end up getting one of those if we get the slots for it. Okay, I think we're done with this turn. No, they're trying to run away, and they're little Italians. Okay, yeah. Now, we can just kill this. Good, that will give us a lot more freedom of movement here. That's being a bit more risky than I want, but all well. Okay, well, we're wearing them down fairly quickly. Let's take a look up. Okay, cargo truck. I'm actually surprised there's nobody in Benghazi at the moment. Do we have these guys out here? No. Hey, Fair Oakenshield, good to have you here. Okay, not too much happening. Yep, they are there. I don't know why they didn't say that they were. Okay, got a minefield. Well, this we're just gonna keep pushing. We're gonna repair those guys or reinforce those guys. See if we can avoid the minefield with our tanks. That would be a good option. Slither. Hit them a bit. Let's see. Well, what else do we? Oh, they retreated. Once you've completed all primary objectives, you will be given an option to continue playing until all secondary objectives. Okay. So we've got Benghazi, which will help our supply situation. British forces back up there. Oh, yes. So we're just sitting there shooting at each other. Fine by me, I guess. French are there. See the little cross of Lorraine on their flag. Yeah, these guys well, might as well shoot. Oh. Running away in their little universal carrier. Oh! Okay, British are destroying their equipment from the Italian attack. Okay, so they destroyed their supply truck. That was the long-range desert group, wasn't it? Okay, it's still there. Okay, hit it with artillery. Yes, definitely the Chevrolet trucks. Oh god, this could turn out. Damn! Now they can't attack! Oh, I messed that up. These guys have to come back and... That's one thing about... One thing I don't like about OB is the inability to undo something like this thing. I guess I needed to bump right into it. Oh, well, okay. Undo a move. Okay, you keep pushing there. Town. Now, here. Okay, we're not going to let these guys get away. Yeah, okay, we got anti-aircraft. I just want to... Good, got him. Fly away from the anti-aircraft. They didn't escape! They didn't escape! Yay! Let them starve. Yeah, that may be a good option. May really be a good one, and we may do that as we move up our forces. Can't let these guys starve. take the air base. It's worth the... And... Oh! The Star of Africa! Marcel. Hans Joachim Marcel. Another interesting pilot. He gets 158 kills, I believe, is what. And he had disciplinary problems supposedly in. Let's give him to this. Oh, to this unit in the Battle of Britain, but ends up doing rather well in North Africa. Let's see. Artillery, infantry, Italian. Just trying to think, do I want to move up here or there? We got that handled, I think. So let's go this way. Yeah, we'll just, well, we can reinforce a bit. See if they want to try to attack us. Ouch. That's a bit more of an ouch. Okay, they're somewhere along here. Uh-oh. Here's some more. Okay. Okay, well. They're cut off from supply. They've done a tricky move on us. Yes, we'll keep the pressure and get back into supply. There we go. Okay, well we had the... Oh, there they are. LRDG out here. Okay. We wanted to do that so that we knew where they were. Right there. Until they move at least. They could become a pain, so they could cut off our supply lines, as I'm worried about. I'm not absolutely sure. They might just be sort of accounted as a reconnaissance. Reconnaissance units in here do not get to take hexes, so I'm not sure what they would be considered. But I want to limit their ability to strike at me. Now, we had, okay, I guess next turn they can land there, hopefully. Don't know if we're gonna have the time to let them starve up here, though. That's not a bad idea. Reinforce. Looks like we have some aircraft out there. Clear out the minefields. Keep our supplies moving through here. Can they land there now? Yes, see, now that we cleared the minefield out, they can land. Good. We need to do that. Okay. And... I think I want another. Yeah, we need to keep pushing here, so I think we'll put them out there. There we go. Hopefully that's not too bad of a situation. Ouch, that really hurt. That really hurt. And that ain't so good either. Okay, the AI's been just out-thunked me a bunch. Oh man, getting out-thunked by an AI. The Australian troops are retreating towards Jabuka, only a small rear guard remains. Okay. Upon British forces destroy their petrol supplies. This is not a good thing. Oh boy. Okay, retake the town. All these guys up here are without supply. And I have tables on them. And we got Benghazi back. You retreat back. Oh boy, man, I had the tables turned on me there. Not what I want to have happen. Okay, yeah, you get to take the town. Come to there. There we go. A little better. Ooh, you gotta go and land at the airbase and get refueled. Yeah, we got the points to... I didn't do so well there. No, we'll wait for reinforcements. Come up. Well, we can recon up this way. Ooh, there's a lot of forces up here. Including an anti-aircraft gun, which I'm not happy about. With my freezer stork right there. Yes. We're going to continue. Yeah, we'll have to fly you out. Oh, there's the Free French troops. Okay, good. Good. No, we don't need to follow them out into the desert. Now, let's see if we can get this whole debacle. Dealt with here. Okay, well. Push and be bold. Push and be bold. Okay, well. Don't know if my... Well, we may... I don't know. Don't know if we'll be able to cut those guys off or not. Yeah. They're running away, they're running away. And they're bombing me. No significant effect. Okay. recon up over here. I know we have the anti-aircraft gun, but we're going to attack it. There we go. We're harrying them, harrying them. Does anybody remember if Michelli had any troops occupying it? Ouch. Ouch. Well, not that big of an ouch, but still an ouch. Okay. Yes, they did. Okay. So I didn't know if they were more up in here or there. Okay. Watch for mines too. Yes, Van Bishop. Thank you. I do appreciate it. Okay. Gotta keep all of these forces moving up, moving up, moving up. Okay, well. Okay, they're shooting at me. We're going to do a bit of a withdrawal here, maybe. Okay, we need to secure our flanks here, I can tell. A little bit of withdrawal, I think. Yeah, those are mildly weak guns. Yeah, you're right. You wrote it first, Van Bishop. I just need to pay more attention. Yeah, I do think that time is a critical issue. With all of this. Anti-aircraft gun again. Well, let's head out here into the desert. Maybe we can go after one of these Blenheims. Okay, there's one, there might be more. Oh, yeah. Wish I had some engineers out here. No, I don't think I want to move up any further. We'll stay right where we're at. I'm worried about them cutting me off here, which these guys will hopefully help with. Oh, we can get a little reinforcement there. That's good. The engineers can clear them, most assuredly. I gotta send them back and get this door shield up a bit more. Oh good, they're just reconnaissance, so they can't cut us off. Chasing reconnaissance planes probably aren't, or it's probably not the best idea, but okay, good. Now like I said, the ability to strafe and then pull away is very nice. Or bomb and pull away or whatever. Okay, well they won't be bothering me anymore. Well, wasn't needed to retake Tangrinder. Again, that was nice. Can we purchase more German units? No. Oh, okay, but we can. Some more Italians. No, we can't. Okay. Well, no, we could Those are just too expensive, or they're only letting us do recon. Don't know if the engineering tanks, yeah, not that I know of. Now those were really, really rare, and what we think of as engineering tanks really mostly are Hobart's funnies. The Germans did have some mine clearing vehicles and some bridging stuff, but it was very, very rare, as in they made sort of very limited numbers. I think in like the tens, not much higher than that. Hobart's funnies sort of come somewhat later in the war. Well, let's see if we can get that. Okay. And those were sort of remarkable vehicles, as it were. Let's get you heading back to the airbase to get repaired. I think we're going to fall back to this town here. They sure like my artillery gun. Now we're going to hit them from two flanks. Hit them again. And again. We're going to go out to the desert. We're going to link it back up. See how that worked? Okay, good to know. Flamethrowers, yeah, flamethrowers would, to some degree, I would agree that they're sort of minimally engineering type vehicles designed to take bunkers. Okay, we're cleaning up those towns. You're going to move through these. Oh, found the long-range desert group again. Okay, well. They're super annoying, so we're going to see if we can... Oh yes. O'Connor captured. We have captured General O'Connor, the seasoned British armor commander, who had delivered a humiliating defeat to the Italian army in Egypt and Libya. Yes, he was the guy who really pushes the Western Desert Offensive to the west, deep into Italian territory. It really was only pulling his, at least one division out of his order of battle, and the other two that get sent up to, that least one of the other two, I think, was earmarked for him, if I remember correctly. The British still, you know, they're a colonial power, so they still sort of kind of need troops in the rear, partially as a reserve, but partially just to maintain control over their territories. That's where I think they pull the 3rd Division that ends up going as sort of rear area security duties going up there, but I think eventually they all would have ended up in the front lines had they not sent them to Greece. And so I forget the exact details, but O'Connor is like, he at some place near the front when things are sort of collapsing, he is asked or ordered to take command. He refuses because he doesn't know the situation. He hasn't been commanding, but he agrees to sort of advise the commander, the general who's in charge. I forget who it was. And so he's like on the way to the headquarters or something, and the Germans capture him in his staff vehicle. I don't know whether it was a car or a truck, whatnot, but just basically gets captured as his vehicle is wandering around the desert. Now, sort of interesting, he's, even though he's captured by the Germans, it's sort of the Italian front, so the Italians get hold of him, put him up in a, you know, high command, small prison camp, if you will. Nice conditions. He and some of the other prisoners try to escape several times. Couple of generals, British generals, get to Switzerland, and he's, I forget what it was. He was trying to escape out at one time and ends up in a solitary confinement. And then later, after the Italians surrender, when they're transferring him to some other place, he and a couple other generals escape with the help of the Italian partisans, and eventually have some adventures, eventually get back into British lines, and he's later given a corps command in the Northwest theater of operations, you know, post D-Day. So he continues on this, and Caesar Sherman, if I'm not. No, so it was only like 2 years he was in prisoner of war camp. So he does escape and get out, and goes on to command the corps later on. Okay, no, we'll stay on the main road. Yeah, Storch. Well, oh, commander's wounded, been hospitalized. Now the Afrika Star, Joachim here, ends up getting shot down, and aircraft problems, he bails out or something. He doesn't make it back, so he dies. And there was some controversy over what aircraft he was flying. He didn't like one of the versions of the BF-109 and was refusing to fly it until orders came down. Nope, you will fly this. So he reluctantly starts flying it, and very soon after that is he's shot down. Earlier, it was him and Rommel, I think, or was it? Yeah, I think it was him and Rommel were ordered back to Berlin for one of Hitler's big speeches in the Sportsplatz. Yeah, that's what it was, and he refuses to go. He says, well, I've already had 3 months off already this year, and I want Christmas off to go home and marry my fiance. So no, I'll stay in the front, and partially because of that, I think, as well as he's in the situation where he dies. Why there's a town with the Italian name in Libya. Giovanni Berto was an Italian political murdered by the communists. They named it after him. The agricultural compound you see on the map today, it's called Gubba. Okay. Yeah. Interesting little here. Okay. Interesting things going on in Italy. The Italians, at least at the time, considered their country to have 3 shores: east, west, and I guess southern, which sort of includes Sicily and whatnot. Well, Mussolini pushed the 4th shore, that being the Libyan coast, and wanted to make that part of Italy and not just a colonial conquest. France has long since been doing a similar thing with Algeria, at least the sort of greener coastal bits, not the sort of interior of Algeria. And so there is food production problems, housing problems in Italy. Some of you may have recently seen TIK's why Hitler had to start the war. I recently made a response video to that. Not entirely disagreeing, similar lines, but some disagreements. But I felt it important enough to make a video on. And he's talking that Hitler believes that the Germans needed the food resources and Lebensraum and some of those elements, talking about that. Well, Italy's having a similar problem. So Mussolini is busy draining swamps, taking wasteland and moving it to nice agricultural usage. He's building sort of nice new cities along the Italian coast, and instead of classical era cities, Rome being built over and over, but really more medieval and Renaissance cities that they're still at this time, in the 40s, putting in centralized plumbing and that into houses and cities. He's building some new modern cities, often along the coastline. Well, he's doing similar things out in Libya, and I've seen some photos of them. They're sort of like town centers. They're modern. They have, at least for this time, all the modern accoutrements of shall we say centralized plumbing system, in that they supply water in through pipes and sewage water out, that whole sort of thing, electricity set up in there, and they're sort of like a city center with a bit of housing around them. They're not very big, but they're set up and built to attract Italians to come to the 4th shore, or the Libyan coastline. And so Mussolini is trying to encourage people to move there. I think it's all really based along encouragement and not, dictator says. He's just building a town somewhere that trying to get people to move into. Okay, well, it's strike, move on. Ooh, I don't want to risk it. I know the